Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about the production possibility model. So this is a topic which can be any a microeconomics topic or macroeconomics topics. In this case, we are at the end of the macroeconomics here. So we have production possibility model and international trade. So what this model shows here. So we have a production possibilities curve. This is the when a country or a person spend all of their resources in order to produce something. So in this case, a student can use her resources, let's say time, in order to study economics and history. So along this curve, yeah, we can see a trade-off. Yeah, let's say if this student decides to use all of her time, for example, 20 hours to study economics and 0 hours to study history, so she will get 100 for economics and 58 for history. At the other extreme of this curve, if she spends all her time to study history, she will get 100 for history and 40 for economics. So along this PPC, we can see a trade-off. Yeah, you can see let's say, if she spend 10 hours each, yeah, to study both economics and history, so she will get 70 for economics and 78 for history. And now, what if she's spent 6 more hours to study economics? Yeah, so she will get additional grade for economics, yeah, that is increasing from 70 to 88, at the expense, yeah, of the history grade. So the history grade will decrease, yeah, from 78 to 66. So this is her opportunity cost. In order to get a higher economic grade, the opportunity cost is a lower history grade, yeah, so a reduction in the history grade. So along this PPC, since this is a straight line, we can say there's a constant opportunity cost. And now the application of production possibility. So use of production possibility table. Yeah. So in here we have 20 hours all studying economics. Yes, so also studying history, she'll get 98%, yeah, 98 grade. But if she studies 0 hours, it's 58. The grade's 58. And now if at the other extreme, yeah, if she spent zero hours studying economics, she will get 40 percent. But if she studies just economics, she'll get 100%. So here we can see there's an input and output. So what's the input? Yeah. What's the output? The output is the grade, yeah, the grade of economics and history. And now what is the input? So the input is the resources, yeah, so the hours of studying. So inputs in producing goods and services can be the people, yeah, the labor, the capital, yeah, the natural resources, such as we have um, oil and gas, yeah, we have other natural resources, we have mining resources, and so on and so forth. Um, uh, and since all resources needed to produce two different goods may be different, yeah, let's say a country's ability to produce a good will be different from if they were to produce something else, yeah. Including, let's say, agricultural goods. So the soil may be more suitable in producing good beef rather than good egg, for example. So let's say the US may be better at producing weapons than producing butter, for example. And remember the trade-off before, yeah? So our production possibility curves is both out, yeah? So we can see it's convex, I mean concave to the origin, yeah? It's concave to the origin. Origin is here, yeah. So if you look at this, it's a country called Cleveland. So there's good A and B. Now, please answer, yeah, which of the following is true, yeah? Whether opportunity cost increases as more good B is produced, or opportunity cost decrease as uh, more of good A is produced. And opportunity cost is of producing good B is constant. Yeah, so you can reflect this, yeah. And now, second problem, yeah. So if a country, let's say a country produce coats and belts, yeah. And now if two coats, yeah, if two coats are currently being produced, so here, two coats, yeah, the opportunity cost of producing the third coat is, yeah, so A, B, C, D, or E. Yeah, you can pause the video and answer this question. Okay. Now, another problem on the PPC, yeah? So if a certain combination of goods and services lies outside the PPC, yeah? So which one is true? Yeah. Okay, so for the PPC, yeah, because we're talking about resources, yeah, to produce goods, yeah, let's say two goods. So when we use all the resources and the outputs, yeah, or the output are on the line, on the curve, on the PPC, we can say that it's efficient. But if it's below the PPC, that means we are not using the goods efficiently, yeah, or at point Z. But at point Y, yeah, at point Y, it's something unattainable because our resources cannot meet, yeah, cannot reach that point. It's just beyond the ability. Yeah. So now answer the question 4. Yeah, you can post the video. And so uh, so previously we discussed about the uh, PPC. Yeah. Now for the PPC from the previous slide, you can see that we know that there's input and there's output. Yeah, output here is grade, and also output is on the in this case is codes and belts. Yeah, good A, good B. So this is output. But we can also have something that is based on the input. Yeah, so in this case, the labor hours used. Yeah, labor hours, machine hours, or how much the resources used is input problem. Yeah? So here in this case, Brazil and Peru produce both coffee and wheat using labor as the only input. Yeah. Now the table shows labor hours required to produce a unit of coffee and a unit of wheat in each country. And now we can go to the absolute advantage and comparative advantage concept. So if we are to look at the absolute advantage is when an individual, a business, or a country can produce more of a good, yeah, or services than any other producers or country. And with the input problems, yeah, or resources, we can say they are going to use less resources, yeah. So that's an absolute advantage concept. It's introduced by Adam Smith, yeah, the absolute advantage. And the second concept is comparative advantage. That's the concept brought by David Ricardo, yeah. So you can see that the comparative advantage shows the benefit of trade. Yeah? So comparative advantage is when a person or a country can, a person, business, or a country, they can produce a good with less opportunity cost. So it's something that is comparative, yeah. So comparative advantage, and I will show you later, yeah. So they can produce at a lower opportunity cost, not at a lower cost, but at a lower opportunity cost than what other producer. So in this case, we can see that how and why those countries can trade, yeah. So there's always opportunity for countries to trade with the concept of comparative advantage. Yeah. Okay. So those parties can still mutually benefit, yeah, from each other. Okay. Now in terms of now I go to the resources, yeah, the input. So labor hours per unit of coffee, yeah. So using in order to produce a unit of coffee, Brazil spends 12 hours, yeah, 12 labor hours. Peru spends, requires 6 labor hours. So now in terms of absolute advantage, which one has absolute advantage? Yeah. And now in terms of producing wheat, yeah, labor hours unit required is 4 for both for Brazil and Peru. So they are the same. So in this case, can we say there's a country has of absolute advantage in producing wheat or not? Yeah. And if a country, if one of them, yeah, has the absolute advantage, should it be lower than 4 or greater than 4? So that's the question. And now for the absolute advantage, we'll have some other exercise, yeah. So you can pause this video and answer which one has absolute advantage, yeah. Which of those two countries, yeah, for each question. Okay. Pause this video. And now the comparative advantage, yeah. So this is an important concept for international trade, I mentioned before. Because of this concept, yeah, a country should produce a good which they have lower opportunity costs, yeah, a lower opportunity cost. And in this case, US can produce 20 planes or 2 cruise ships, yeah, using all of their resources, yeah. And France can produce 12 planes or 2 cruise ships for the using all of the resources. Now, what is the opportunity cost producing one of each product? Yeah. So we can calculate the opportunity cost, yeah, by asking, yeah, what is the cost? What is the opportunity cost in producing one plane? Yeah. So in producing one plane, yeah, producing one plane in terms of cruise ship. Yeah. So now because it to produce one plane and US produced 20, that means the opportunity cost is 2/20, yeah, or 1/10. So opportunity cost of producing one plane is 1/10 of cruise ship, yeah, 1/10 of cruise ship. So I just write C, yeah, cruise. And then the opportunity cost of producing one cruise ship, yeah, 1C, we can, yeah, we can divide 20 by 2 or just the exact opposite, yeah? So if it's 1/10, yeah, that means this is 10, yeah? So it's 20/2. They're going to be inverse, yeah, between these two opportunity costs. Okay, so it's 20/2 equals 10 equals 10. 10 plane, yeah? Okay, so that's for the US. Now for France, yeah? What's the opportunity cost of producing one plane for France? Yes, so it's one plane equals two cruise ships, yeah? 2 divided by 12. So we have 1/6 cruise ship, yeah? 1/6 C. And now what's the opportunity cost for France in producing one cruise ship, yeah? So you know it's just the exact opposite, so it's equal 6 plane, yeah? 6 plane. Now we compare, yeah, the opportunity cost. Now for planes, which one has a lower opportunity cost? Is it the US or France? Yeah, so you compare between 1/10 and 1/6. So the answer would be US, yeah, because it has a lower opportunity cost. So the one has opportunity cost in producing plane is the US, and now the country that has an opportunity cost, a lower opportunity cost in producing cruise ship is France, yeah, because it's 6 compared to 10, yeah, 6 plane compared to 10. So we can say US has comparative advantage in producing plane, and France has a comparative advantage in producing cruise ship. Okay, now exercise, yeah. So okay, so which one has opportunity cost has the comparative advantage in producing cars, and which one has comparative advantage in producing a motorcycle? Okay, you can pause the video using the same method. Yeah, so you calculate the opportunity cost for each good, yeah, for one car, one motorcycle for each country. Okay, now next exercise, yeah. Japan can produce 4 laptops or 12 phones, and Brazil can produce 1 laptops or 5 phones. So which one, I mean, in terms of absolute advantage, you already know from the previous exercise. So Japan has absolute advantage in producing both, yeah, because it can produce more laptops, yeah, 4 laptops compared to 1 and 12 compared to 5. Now, in terms of comparative advantage, which one, yeah? Which country has comparative advantage in producing laptops, and which country has comparative advantage in producing phones? So calculate the opportunity cost and then answer the question. And for exercise 4, yeah, Cuba takes 4 hours. So now I'm asking you, what kind of problem is this? Is this output or input? Yeah, you know, yeah, because it takes 4 hours. Yeah, so this is an input problem. Yeah. So Cuba needs 4 hours to make one TV and 12 hours to make salsa. And Mexico needs 1 hour to produce TV and 5 hours to produce salsa. So in terms of the absolute advantage, you can say that Mexico, yeah, you know, the country that spend less resources, right? Yeah, so Mexico has absolute advantage in both producing TV and salsa because it requires less resources, right? Now, in terms of a comparative advantage, um, yeah, try to answer this and I will explain soon, yeah? Okay, so did you get the answer? Yeah. Now it's slightly different because now we are using inputs rather than output. So now the method is different, yeah. So now in order to produce one TV, so they require 4 hours, and in order to produce salsa, they require 12 hours. So now the opportunity cost in producing one TV, yeah. So opportunity cost in producing one TV. Now we don't divide 12 divided by 4 because this is for one TV. So it's the opposite, yeah. So we divide 4, yeah, the resources over 12. So it's going to be 1/3, yeah. So one TV is 1/3 of this is opportunity cost, yeah. So is this, yeah. So it's going to be 4/12 or 1/3 of salsa, yeah? So the opportunity cost is of one TV is 1/3 of salsa. So pretty straightforward, yeah? Because this is the resources, that's the cost, yeah? So 1/3. Now, in order to produce one salsa, so it's going to be the inverse, yeah? The exact inverse, that's going to be 12/4, that's 3 TV, yeah? So opportunity cost of producing one salsa is yeah, is 3 TV. And this one as well, yeah. So one TV for Mexico, the opportunity cost is equal to 5, yeah. 5 salsa. Sorry. 1/5. 1/5 salsa. And for Mexico, one salsa cost, yeah, opportunity cost equals 5 TV. So which country has comparative advantage in producing TV? So it's the same, yeah. The one who has lower opportunity cost. So in this case, Mexico, yeah. Mexico has a comparative advantage because it has a lower opportunity cost. Yeah, 1/5 compared to 1/3. Yeah, and now the country that has comparative advantage in producing salsa is the one who has a lower opportunity cost in producing it. That is 3 TV compared to 5. Yeah. So, you get the answer for this. Yeah. So now we have completed exercise for both absolute and comparative advantage, and using the output and input, yeah, or resources problem. Okay, now here's we will see benefits, yeah. We'll see benefits from trade, yeah. Due to the concept of comparative advantage, So countries can still, yeah, they can still trade. Although in this example, if we look at this exercise, yeah, this question, so in terms of absolute advantage, Japan produced both laptops and phones better than Brazil. But due to the comparative advantage, they can still get mutual benefit from trade. So when people freely enter trade, both parties can still benefit from trade. Yeah, they can benefit from trade. So here we have two countries PPC. Yeah. So this one is Pakistan PPC. Yeah. The first curve, and the second one is the orange one is for Belgium. So we can see that in terms of this is output, yeah, in terms of producing textile and chocolate. So if Pakistan use all the resources to produce textiles, they can produce 4,000. But if the other extreme, if they use all the resources just to produce chocolate, they will get 1 ton. Yeah, this is 4,000 yards, and this is 1 ton of chocolate. But for Belgium, if Belgium spend all the resources to produce textile, they can only produce 1,000 yards. But if they use all the resources to produce chocolate, they can make 4 tons of chocolate. So now we can see that, yeah, we can imply, yeah, that this country can trade if they specialize, yeah. So again, the concept of comparative advantage, if countries specialize on the producing the good that they have comparative advantage, or they produce at a lower opportunity cost, they can, yeah, so they produce, and other country produce other good that they have a lower opportunity cost, so they can trade, and both, yeah, both of them can uh can consume more, yeah. So let's take an example. If Pakistan, yeah, if Pakistan's use, let's say they start with this point, yeah, so let's say they produce 2,000 textile yards of textile, and let's say half, yeah, 0.5 of uh, tons of chocolate, or 500 uh, 500 kilograms, right? Yeah. So this is point A for Pakistan. And for Belgium, let's say they produce 2 tons of chocolate and 500 yards of textile. So we have a point B here. Now, what if they uh, focus here? They specialize in good that they have a lower opportunity cost. So yeah, so this is the PPC if they don't trade, yeah, without trade. Now, comparative advantage and combine PPC. So here I draw this, yeah, the lines, yeah, the PPC, let's say textile 4,000, 0 and 2,000 half tons, yeah, this is tons of chocolate. And this is the other extreme for Pakistan. And this is for Belgium if they produce textile, yeah, so here. But if they produce just chocolate, they can produce 4 tons. Now, so in the previous slide, yeah, I showed that let's say we start from these 2 points, yeah, A for Pakistan and B for Belgium. Okay, so that means we are in this, yeah, this point. So now together, yeah, they can consume 2,000 yards of textile plus, yeah, without trade, yeah, plus 500 yards of textile, yeah, so 2,500 textile. And they consume, they consume half plus 2 tons, yeah, half plus 2 tons of chocolates. So 2.5 tons of chocolate, half tons of, this is textile, this is chocolate. This is without trade. Now, if they specialize, yeah, if they specialize, that means Pakistan is going to produce 4,000 of textile, and Belgium is going to produce 4 tons of chocolate. Now it's going to increase, yeah, the consumption of textile from 2,500 to 4,000, yeah, 4,000. So that means there's an increase or delta of 1,500, yeah, of the consumption. Yes, of textile. And for the chocolate, it's from 2.5 to 4, yeah. So it 4 tons of chocolate. So delta is 1.5 tons of chocolate. So if they trade, they can get benefit from this trade, yeah. So what happened is they're gonna move, yeah, because let's say Pakistan only needs 2,000 yards of textile. So Pakistan is going to sell the 2,000 yards of textile to Belgium, yeah, and Belgium, so they're going to export, yeah, to Belgium the 2,000, yeah. So now Belgium uh, can consume 2,500 textile, okay. And sorry, no, not 2,500, but 2,000, yeah. So because, yeah, 2,000, so 2,000 to Belgium. And the same is true for Belgium. Yeah, Belgium is going to consume 2, and they're going to export 2 tons of chocolate. This is 2 tons. Okay. So now we will have this. So previously, this is point A, yeah, and point B. Now they both, yeah, with the trade, they both consume 2,000 yards of textile and 2 tons of chocolate. So we have this new point here, yeah. So this is consumption before trade, yeah. So now it's moving this way for Pakistan, yeah, towards, yeah, towards this point C. And the same is true for Belgium because of the trade. So Belgium moves from point B up here to C. So now we have this new consumption, yeah. So it increases both, yeah. So this specialization and the concept of comparative advantage, yeah, it's from specialization from Adam Smith, and the comparative advantage is from David Ricardo. So we can see that the benefit of trade, yeah. Yeah, why Pakistan should specialize in producing textile, and why Belgium should specialize in producing chocolates. So if each country specializes according to the comparative advantage and they trade, so they can consume beyond the no trade PPC. Yeah, this is these are the no trade PPC. These two two curves, and this is the consumption beyond that. Okay, consumption with trade. Yeah, this one. Yeah, okay. Now, yeah, you just read this. There are barriers to trade and also enablers. Yeah, barriers to trade. You know the tariff. Yeah, as the current issues here with the Trump uh, tariff war, yeah, trade war. So tariff is a tax on imports, but there are others non-tariff barriers such as quotas, yeah, export subsidies, dumping when they sell lower than the cost of production, um, and local content requirement like the TKDN, yeah, permits and licenses, quarantine requirement, especially in the US, yeah, they are very strict, yeah, in quarantine requirement, US, Australia, because they try to protect their agricultural products, yeah, and the EU, but not as much as the US and Australia. But there are also other trade enablers, like when the multilateral agreements, including bilateral agreements. Yeah, we have so bilateral between two countries and multilateral, such as the free trade agreements, yeah, preferential trade agreements, and CPA, CECA. And the history is from the GATT, yeah, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade in 1947. Yeah, so started with initiated by the US and other 22 nations, and the WTO, Doha, yeah, Doha, Qatar, yeah, in Qatar. And for ASEAN countries, we have AFTA, North American Free Trade Area. They have NAFTA, yeah, between the US, Mexico, and Canada. And the EU is just not just a free trade area, it's just so much beyond that. Yeah, it's uh union, yeah, it's a union, so it's one market, one even one one currency, the euro. Okay. Now I think that's for now. Good luck for the exam. Yeah. See you. Thank you.